Welcome, friends. Today, we're doing another fragrance rotation video for the week ending the 11th of June, 2023. Sensational. That's right, friends. We are back. Back with another fragrance rotation video. Indeed we are. And if you'll forgive me and excuse me, I'll hydrate. It's been a hot one. Well, it's been hotter than it has been. Let's put it like that. Not overbearingly hot, but still hot. Hot for Northern England. Let's put it like that, which isn't very hot for most people. But anyhow, we shall crack on with the rotation. And first, on Monday, my first wearing of this season anyway. It is Ma Liberté by Jean Patou. This is a vintage bottle. Apparently it was re-released by SA Parfums. Do not buy that version. I cannot speak to that version. I have not smelled it, but I've heard it's horrific. This, on the other hand, is immense. Absolutely sensational. And if you were watching any of the streams this week, you will have known that I got myself a 200ml backup splash of this for less than I paid for the 100ml. Which is a bit of a kick in the boobs, but that's just life. I don't want to think that I got ripped off for the 100ml. I like to think I got a bargain for the 200ml. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean. Anyway, this is lavender. It's a little bit warm at the top. It's got some coriander, so I don't want to say it's sweaty, but it's got some warmth, you know. There's some definite warmth in there. There is a lot of lavender. There's some nutmeg, some patchouli, and some clove as well. There is a very, very well done subtle lemon, like a citrus kind of, like a warm citrusy kind of thing, almost a little bit eau de Hermes, just a little bit though. That's where the similarity ends. This warm citrusy top sort of thing, and then it just dries. Oh, it's a fucking beautiful fragrance, massively underrated. When you compare it to like what's around now and like the prices you can still get the vintages, that's a brilliant fragrance. These have held up really well. I don't know how old they are, these bottles, but they've held up absolutely fantastically well. Mine have anyway. Next, Tuesday. Now, the weather on Tuesday was a little bit weird. It wasn't boiling hot, it was bright, but it was like there was a breeze, you know? So I decided to wear something that could sort of like fit in no problem. And this is Creed's Himalaya. This is one of the most underrated Creeds, in my opinion, if not the most underrated. Maybe Original Vetiver. I think Original Vetiver is massively underrated. Sandalwood, like this kind of flint, kind of outrageous, stony, musky sort of thing. Musky. But for me, it's mainly like this sandalwood, musk, flinty kind of vibe, you know? I think they call it like gunpowder. It's an absolutely brilliant fragrance. I also have the Pierre Bourdon, who also made this. I have the Pierre Bourdon Smalto Full Choke as well. Not as good as this, obviously. The materials in this are much better, but it's essentially the same perfume. Lasts all day, and it's absolutely brilliant. Next up, on Wednesday, I was doing my friend's driveway with the jet washer. So I did a little bit of that, and I wore myself Smolto por Hom. It was very manly. It was a very masculine activity. Not that women can't do it. If you want to do it, ladies, you knock yourself out. Very therapeutic, I'll say that. But I felt useful. Do you know what I mean? And I don't often feel useful these days because of me back. But I felt useful on Wednesday. And this is a very useful fragrance. And it has had some use. It is Italian leather, black Italian leather, smoky, dark leather jacket. Star anise at the top, which is just gives it this hint of weirdness, which is just one turn of the dial, you know, one increment on the dial either side. It's just a little bit different, you know. Huge oak moss in the base. Brilliant fragrance. Lavender as well. Very Italian aromatic fougere. You can tell how much I love it by how much I've worn it. And another fragrance I wore on Thursday. You can also tell by how much I've worn this as well. And this is, of course, Luciano Pavarotti. I've got 1 or 2 wears of this bottle left, and when I've finished that, I am retiring it until next year. I will whip out a new bottle, just so I can start wearing some other things as well. But I'm loving this. At this point, I'm just trying to finish this small amount of fragrance off. You know what I mean? But honey, lavender, patchouli, beautiful, stunning fragrance. Sweet, but not sugar sweet. Sandalwoody, smooth, blended brilliantly. I highly recommend this to you. It's an awesome fragrance if you can still find it, you know. I have a few bottles, which means I am glad and I can wear this as much as I want without fear of running out. So that's great. But yes, I'll be sad when this runs out, but also I'll be glad that it happened rather than sad that it's over. Friday, I wore the best blue fragrance in the world ever because I went out for a meal and it was warm. And this is Ambra Supreme by L'Indomitable. This is ambergris and ylang ylang. But the ambergris is actually real in this. So it's beautiful. It's sat for the best part of a year now, if not a bit longer. So the oxygen's starting to get at it and it's starting to open up a bit more and change a bit, and it smells so good. It smells so good. It's clean, it's natural, it's a little bit floral, it's open, it's fresh, but it's got depth and a little bit of darkness in it too. Gorgeous fragrance. It's just a shame they only do this in 50ml bottles, you know. I wish they would do 100ml of these, but they don't, so that's upsetting. A perfume I do have 100ml of is what I wore yesterday, Saturday, and this is the first time I've worn this year, and it is the star of last summer, Geranium pour Monsieur. Geranium pour Monsieur. Toothpaste, mint, geranium. Light, airy, breezy, fresh, new, minty. It is absolutely glorious. I love this stuff for the heat. It's awesome. For me, there are other notes in it. Stuff like benzoin and incense and sandalwood. I don't really get much of that. That must just be to round it out and balance the fragrance. Because for me, this is all about mint and all about geranium. Based on toothpaste, apparently. And it smells like that. It smells like morning freshness. You know? Not morning sickness. Morning freshness. Not morning breath. Fresh breath. It's fantastic. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I highly recommend that as well. I don't know what the prices are on that these days. I get quite good performance for it, although I do lather it on. You know, I wear a lot of that. I wear like 20 sprays of that when I put it on. It's fabulous. Oops, a daisy. Now, moving on to today's scent of the day. Today, I am wearing this. And I'm not sure how I'm feeling about it, to be perfectly honest with you. This is Hugo Boss Sport. This is an unusual fragrance. It has a note of marigold at the top. And this marigold gives me a dry, aromatic, straw kind of feeling to the fragrance. It's very, very strange to me. I'm not entirely sure I like it. I sort of get what they were going for with it, right? Where it's got this kind of dry summer, sort of like Wimbledon final kind of thing going on, where the grass has been bleached by the sun over 2 weeks and it's had people running down the baseline and the grass is yellow, like cricket pitches that have been bleached in the sun. This kind of degraded grass kind of vibe. I get that. And I think that's actually quite clever. I just don't like it. And I'd never noticed this. I'd worn this a couple of times before, quite a while ago. And I wasn't huge on it. To be perfectly honest, I wasn't huge on it. And I'm still not. This is the first time I've worn it for like a proper scent of the day experience. I'll bear with it. Hopefully you'll see this again. It's got a lot of florals in it for me. You know, it's very not flowery, but like planty. You know, it's got like plant vibes to it. It's got like marigold, lavender, geranium, jasmine, lily, tarragon, carnation. You know, that kind of thing. It's got this kind of green, off-green kind of vibe as well. Weird. Very strange. I don't have anything else like it. Maybe apart from Shergi. It does remind us a bit of Shergi. But whereas Shergi goes resinous and irisy and thick and tobacco, this goes like green and mossy and vetiver-y and stuff like that, you know. So it's unusual. I will persevere and try and get to know it, because it is unusual. But anyway, this has been my weekly rotation, my fragrance rotation. I hope you have enjoyed it, friends. I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye.